So hey friends, welcome to this week's video. This week's less of a review and more of just like an unboxing and overview. It was my birthday recently and my friends Slava and Coco were in Singapore last year and they had picked me up this Pokemon Classic trading cards board. I've never seen this set. There are some interesting things about this that I want to talk about, but there's a ton going on in here. So included, which I'll talk to you and I'll do some B-roll so you guys can see this up closer. It's 3 60 card decks featuring Venusaur, Charizard, Blastoise, 3 deck boxes, 3 sets of card sleeves, 1 2-player board game or game board, 1 toolbox case with a randomizer, 2 sets of damage cones, and 2 sets of condition markers. So from what I can tell from this is a nice collectible as well as for you to get into the game. Growing up, I was more into collecting the cards, reading the cards, trading the cards, and less into the game, so I don't know as much about the mechanics of how the board game behaves. I do know the energy cards. I would usually discard them, as with a lot of my other friends, but this might be a cool way to understand the game a little bit better, so we might actually get to play, or at least do some trial plays to see if this is something that we can use regularly. So I might get Slava or Samika to play a game with what decks they've given us, but I do want to give you guys a closer look on what's in this beautiful box. So let's cut away and talk about what's inside.
The outer box is a classy matte black and has some cutouts to tease the inner carry case. Peeling this back shows the inner boxes that contain the board and holders as well as the cards. There is a floater card in here and it is important to read. It serves as a reminder that these cards in the deck are tailored for the TCG Classic rule set and will play different. As a result, they should only be used within this playing environment. And if we flip the card over, we see that these cards cannot be used for tournament play outside the base energy cards. So while the cards may look impressive, they are for Classic play only, and that means that they won't have the same value as their TCG counterparts. With that disclaimer out of the way, let's talk about the carrying sleeve as well as show the game board. The board has a nice weight and sturdiness to it. It also has a strong magnetic closure that keeps everything locked in. It's legitimately strong. Once cracked open, it reveals the card holders and toolkit. We'll definitely get more into these items once we finish up the board talk. The bottom side is lined with foam cutouts to ensure that the items stay nice and snug in storage. And once we flip this guy over, you'll see the play space. The mat is a simplified view compared to modern boards. The Classic board has placement zones for active Pokemon, bench Pokemon, your deck, a discard pile, and prize cards. The board has a nice smoothed down velvet feel to it that allows the cards to slide nicely, but also keeps them in place when not touched. It really elevates the feel of the board and really gives it that grown and sexy vibe. Going back to the accessories under the board, let's talk about these deck holders. They're leatherette hard cases with magnetic closures. The leather imprints and hard stitching give it a nice luxury aesthetic to it, and the elemental screen print is nice and subtle to follow those sleek looks. The insides are nice and felted for protection, and the lid is magnetic like the board. Overall, it's just a beautiful execution here. Unlike the card holders, the toolkit is a hard case that acts as a holder for your damage counters and conditions, as well as a randomizer. While you could use a coin or dice, I think the use of a slope and ball bearing is a nice touch. It gives it a little bit more drama, and there's a separate arena of play that won't disrupt your cards on the board. As for the condition markers, it comes with 2 sets of purple and orange pieces that show poison and burned respectively. These pieces are metal and nicely enameled, giving it a lovely hand feel. The damage markers are similarly constructed with painted numerals for easy visibility. They stack nicely and have a good weight to them. Now for the part that y'all probably care about the most, cards. The smaller box contains all of the decks, which focus on Bulbasaur, Squirtle, and Charmander. Each of the decks come shrink wrapped, including 3 GX cards. That's not something I expected when I opened this, and I thought I had the wrong package, but we'll revisit that. Outside of that, they come in 3 shades of card sleeves. It's a nice addition to keep the cards separate and not mix and match the sets on accident. Let's crack these decks open and see what we get. All cards will be holographic for presentation, which is a nice touch to upscale this set. The Bulbasaur deck starts off with a GX Lugia and will show themes of grass and fighting type Pokemon with supplemental cards. Of course, you will get the whole evolution tree of Bulbasaur, some classic grass types like Scyther, as well as fighting types with the quintessential Hitmonlee and Hitmonchan, but also get some normal type Pokemon sprinkled in there, ending with our favorite chonky boy, Snorlax. I'll use the mid-gray sleeves for this grass deck and get them all sleeved up. I will say that these sleeves don't feel cheap. They have a nice silkiness to them, and they have a tight fit. I love that they give you a few extras for your own purposes as well. After they're all sleeved, let's put them in the grass type case and hit that nice magnetic closure. Onto the Squirtle deck, it starts off with a GX Suicune and follows up with the water and psychic energies that will construct the theme of this deck. Obviously, you get your support cards and your Squirtle evolution up to Blastoise. You will also get some OG 151 evolution lines from Staryu and Magikarp, as well as some legendaries. And for the psychic subtype, you will get an evolution line from Drowsy to Hypno, as well as some other one-offs like Mr. Mime. And much like the Bulbasaur pack, we'll get some normal type Pokemon added in for flavor. We'll get these sleeved up in the light gray sleeves and box these up into the water case. And lastly, the Charmander deck has the GX Ho-Oh as the face, followed by the fire and electric energies that will comprise the typing of this deck. From there, we'll get the standard support cards and the full evolution line of Charmander up to Charizard. If only it had the same value as the standard TCG. We get some additional fire buddies such as Rapidash and Magmar before getting into our electric set, including my spirit animal Pikachu and his less cool evolution Raichu. While the themes continue similar as the other decks, we do see some fairy and post-Gen 1 Pokemon like Clefairy and Miltank respectively, and that just kind of surprised me. It's definitely not the same normal type flavor that the other decks were filled in with. I'll sleeve these up in the black sleeves and box them up into the fire case, and we'll be ready to play. However, when shooting this review, I realized that I need to get familiar with these cards, and I'm going to need to do a bunch of reading on the rules, as well as get a couple friends on board with me as well, so that we can get proper gaming. Otherwise, we'd be spending probably the next hour fumbling on this video, and I don't want to make it that long. So this will be more about an unboxing. If you guys want to see more from us playing the game and doing all that sort of stuff, definitely leave a comment, and we can see if we can get some trial games going. Alright, so this set of the Pokemon Trading Card Game Classic is just sexy. Like, from the packaging to the feel, everything just feels like a very refined version. Like, if you've seen people play Pokemon, it's usually on these big, flashy, like, colorful boards. This just kind of upscales it a bit by giving you this magnetic closure, like, velvety feel. It's just kind of for, like, people that are into Pokemon that want to play the game and are just a little bit more grown and sexy. It's just super noir, super debonair with how they package this. Again, this is more about being a collector's item if you wanted to keep something like this, or if you're more into playing the game, because for, again, as we talked about earlier, these cards and the rule set are not up to date. So the cards can't be used in tournament because they're not like official Pokemon trading cards for that purpose, as well as the fact that the rule set that is for this particular board are from the original set. So, you know, if you like playing back in the day, you can play with that vibe. It does not have the standards of today's game. Again, I haven't been keeping up of how that has transitioned, and I haven't really played the original version, but that makes me really interested with this presentation on getting more into the game and potentially playing it every now and then, like for a board game night. Just with how this is presented, this could be brought to a board game night. It's, you know, everything is closed and locked into place. It has a nice handle as long as you keep the sleeve, but you could just also just sling this, you know, under your arm. But overall, I just really like everything about it. So Slava, thank you for the gift. I think it's great, and we'll have to get playing soon. So if you guys want to see me try to freaking learn how to play this game and do some trials with my friends, let me know in the comments. Otherwise, the video will come out eventually once we get a little bit more bearings on how to play. But I hope you guys like this unboxing. I know that's not a review like you're traditionally used to getting from me, but I like to do these unboxings every now and then, especially with things that I'm less familiar with. If you are coming here expecting me to do like Pokemon unboxings, maybe I'll do some. Just because it's funny to see people like kill themselves at Costco and Target just to get like a booster pack. Like maybe I'll just pick one up, pay a little bit of a premium, not kill myself, and then just see what I can get in it. But it's not something I'll do normally. But maybe like once in a blue moon, I'll get something that's trending and just see what the hype is about. So anyway, if you guys like this video, please consider liking, subscribing, commenting, doing all the things you normally do on a video that you like and love. And as always, I appreciate you. I'll see you soon.